A lot of people, they call themselves lazy, but what they are is they're scared. I
Mm.
fall into that. I quite often will say, "Oh, I'm lazy," or "I'm not motivated," when the fact is I deny myself nothing. I am not lazy. If I want something, I totally go get it.
You are now listening to the Going North podcast with your host, author and speaker Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, you're going to hear the voice of a different author share their stories, expertise, and their struggles that they had to overcome in life to leave you inspired to get more out of your life. Be sure to not only listen to this episode, but share with others, connect with the authors, and always advance others to advance yourself. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we bring you some super special, awesome humans from across the globe. Today's no different because today we got a book publisher in the house. We got a Wonder Woman in the house, a lady boss in the house. Yes, you heard that right, folks, all three. This wonderful lady right here is the president of New Shelves Books, one of the best-known book sales and marketing agencies in the United States, as well as a trusted expert speaker and recommended sales consultant for some of the largest book and library retailers and wholesalers in the publishing industry. And in the last 20 years, this super special, awesome human and her team have sold more than 40 million books. You heard that right, folks. 40 million books. It's probably 50 million by the time this episode comes out. Into the bookstore, library, and chain store market for small and mid-sized publishers. In addition to that, she's also a columnist for and a board member of several publishing organizations, as well as a trusted teacher in the world of independent publishers. So let's give it up for the famous and amazing Amy Collins. How are you today, ma'am?
I am great. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for having me on. I wish everyone a happy week, and I hope everyone's doing well.
Ah, yeah, well, with the extra water, indeed. Well, it's great having you on. Indeed, a legend who is living and helping the masses become legends themselves. How's it feel?
Well, aren't you fun first thing in the morning? Yeah, no, I have said for years what I enjoy more than anything about my job is educating people. Knowledge is I do not sell my knowledge. Anything I learn about the publishing industry, I would be happy to share. There's so much that changes and is constantly fluctuating in our world and in our industry that we all have to help each other out and stay connected.
That's right. Almost like a Chinese finger trap, right?
Well, there's a visual.
Oh, yeah. It's a great visual indeed. It's a great visual indeed. So, as with all introductions, they're not allowed to be 50 days long. So mind filling in some cavities where I missed some things and tell us some things I may have forgotten in the introduction that you'd like to share with the listeners?
No, you pretty much got it all. I run a marketing and sales company called New Shelves. I am a partner in a full scale marketing agency called Bestseller Builders. And I have a publishing imprint called Breathe Books, all of which make up my day. And I have very much enjoyed the last 15 years being a book publisher and distributor, but also, as I said, just getting the information out there. I travel all over the world giving talks at conferences, and I love doing interviews like this.
Oh, heck yeah. That's right. It'll be out there for years to come for other folks to absorb. Heck, maybe even have a return visit for you or one of your buddies who wants to promote some more stuffs.
Yeah, well, there's so much that authors can do to promote themselves in their books and don't. So that's a big part of what I like to talk about is just to make sure that everyone knows whether you're traditionally published, if you've published yourself, or if you've paid a company to publish your book for you. Authors are all in the same boat. You still have to do the same things to get your work out there.
Amen to that indeed. And we have so many folks publishing books nowadays. I think it was a stat of couple months ago that Ingram let out was like what 270% increase in book production.
Yep. Yep. The numbers that I've heard from the book industry study group is that there's well over 1.3 million new books that came out last year. That's ISBNs that actually publish. That's not, I mean, about 4 million ISBNs were generated. But I mean, with those sorts of numbers, you've got to crawl your way up to the top to get the attention.
Oh, yes, indeed. And that's where you come in. So, with being a veteran, what's probably some of the amateur mistakes you've seen folks out there with authors marketing and promoting themselves that they probably should avoid?
Well, newcomers to the industry or people who it's their first book quite often think that the book will sell itself or that people will just find the book, that all they have to do is get it up on Amazon or get it into their local bookstore and the book will start selling. There's no book in the history of time that has actually happened. No book ever, including the Bible. No book ever that just took off on its own. It always needs help. And so I would say that one of the biggest things that I combat with new authors is this idea, this myth that books just catch fire, whether it's The Secret back in the 90s or whether it's 50 Shades of Grey a couple years ago, whatever the myth is that people have in their heads that these books just took off, it is just that. It took a lot of time and money to get 50 Shades of Grey and the Bible up and going. I hate to put the two of them in the same, but it's from, you know, the sublime to the ridiculous. Um, it is it is absolutely true that no matter what book you're putting out there, without exception, Shakespeare, I don't care who you are, everyone had to hustle. Everyone needed to push. And if you're listening to this, guys, you are not the exception. That I guess one of the other biggest things that I hear over and over again is people thinking that their book will be the exception. I've been in the industry for almost 30 years now. There are no exceptions. It's always about hard work and constant, consistent daily effort to get the word out.
Oh, you are so right about that. And it's so true. Like all books need help. It's funny how books are kind of like the thread from humans, like the derivatives of us, and they kind of hold the same quality as us. We all need help to survive and thrive.
Yes. You know, you would feed a child, you would, you know, support any human being. That you're right. That's a great way to think about it. They, you know, you have to build a house, you have to build shelter, you have to feed, there needs fresh air. Your books need the same thing. And it doesn't have to be something you spend a lot of money on, but it does have to be something you spend a lot of time on. And I've been saying this also for years. Time, money, talent. Pick any two. If you've got talent and money, you can probably promote your book quite well. If you've got time and talent, you can promote your book quite well. If you've got money and time and no talent, your book may still take off. There's a couple of examples there I can tell you recently, but you need at least two of them. You need at least two out of the three. Pick any two, and you can probably be successful.
Ah, amen to that. That's a perfect pyramid right there. I like that. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because it's so true. It's like you need at least two out of the three to make it a success. And no matter the three, it's like, you know what? Even if there's talentless stuff out there, heck, even, well, don't want to throw too much shade, but some of the urban fiction that's out there nowadays with the bad formatting, it's like, it's like, yeah, if folks are promoting it and some folks are buying it, so it's like, hey, you too with your fabulous book can become a success. You just have to dedicate the time to it and the money to it.
And unfortunately, there's no guarantees. Even after you spend all of that time or money uh, to get your very talented writing out there, the big question that everyone asks me over and over again, the question I've gotten more often this year than any other year, but any other question is, what do I have to do to make my book a bestseller? And that is no different than turning to me and saying, what do I have to do to become a famous singer? Or what do I have to do to become a movie star? Very few people, very few painters or actors or singers start their career assuming that of course they're going to be a Hollywood movie star, or that they will get their own dedicated show in Las Vegas, or that they'll be touring opening for U2. And yet writers consistently believe that all they have to do, that there must be just a few simple steps that they can take, which will put them on the New York Times bestseller list, or that will shoot them up into being able to quit their day job. It's just a simple outline. What do I need to do? And it's not that simple. Unfortunately, just like singers and actors, painters, sculptors, writing is an art and it's a craft, but there's also the third intangible element. There's the outsiders, there's the consumers, the people who are consuming your writing. And whether or not you actually catch fire, there's that third unknowable element that you can't control. And that's how other people react to you. And other people react to your words, to your writing, to your stories, to your advice, depending on what kind of book you're putting out there. Boy, I wish if I could figure out a way to just come up with steps, I would do it. However, there are things that you have to do. If you're going to be a best-selling author, you have to have a good platform. You have to have a great relationship with your readers. You have to be willing to grow your readership and grow your relationship with your readers. I don't know of any successful authors that sit in their house and don't do anything to connect with or to grow their relationship with their readers. It just doesn't work that way. This is a relationship you have with the world, and you have to be willing to do your part.
Amen to that indeed. You're definitely right, just growing relationships with your readers. So, in addition to just befriending other authors, what's probably the best advice that's helped you and some of your clients in the past to actually gain more readers?
Yeah, well, and it's the thing that you have to do, even if you're going to have a chance of making the bestseller list. People who say, well, I hate social media and I don't want to ask for reviews and I'm uncomfortable promoting myself. Great, no problem. Then go hire someone to do it for you. No, I have no problem if you don't want to do it yourself. And then they say, well, I can't afford that. Well, then now we're down to one. You've got talent, but you don't have time or money or willingness. Then I don't know what to tell you, because I don't believe that you need to pay someone to go get you out there, but somebody has to do it. And if it's not going to be you, who's it going to be? And what are you going to do? The big thing that I love telling people is that it doesn't need to be a huge job every day, but you do need to address it every day. You need to ask one bookstore to stock your book, or one reviewer to review your book. You need to send out one offer. You need to do one thing to grow your relationship with your readers. You need to do something every day. Just the way, as you were saying, Dom, you have to support a human being. The way you have to eat every day. You can't ignore, if you don't build your house, if you ignore the steps to build your house all summer, then you'll be real cold in the winter. So you have to do a little something every day.
That's right. Won't even need the big bad wolf to blow it over. Oh man, yes indeed. That's definitely true, and it is kind of bad. It's like, all right, it's like if you're not willing to do the work, and then if you don't have the funds to do it, you can't be lazy on top of that too, because it's really no hope at all for you.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, they call themselves lazy, but what they are is they're scared. I
Mm.
fall into that. I quite often will say, oh, I'm lazy or I'm not motivated, when the fact is I deny myself nothing. I am not lazy. If I want something, I totally go get it. I've never once sat on the couch, decided I wanted pizza, and not had pizza. That's totally, but so you got to want it bad enough. Lots of times people are frightened. They're afraid of what people are going to think. They're afraid of a number of things. Most of my fears center around what will people think. And so it's easier not to do something than to actually address the fact that I'm scared. I'm scared to ask that bookstore if they'll stock my book. I'm afraid to reach out to that librarian. What if they're mean to me? What if somebody goes online? What if I start reaching out on social media and people don't react well? What if somebody says something harsh on my website? What if one of my blogs, if I look stupid? There's so many fears that I have, but I have to do it anyway. Being afraid is not an unusual thing. We all have fears. But the thing that separates the successful authors from the not as successful authors is the successful authors, they do it anyway. And that is a big mantra for me. I know Nike says just do it. Well, Amy says just do it anyway, no matter how you feel.
That is so true indeed. So the Amy Publishing shoes are coming to a store near you soon too. Heck, the funny thing about it is with the online tools, I mean, it don't has to be all online, but heck, you can do it from the comfort of your own home in Moo if you wanted to.
Exactly. You'd be amazed how often I'm in yoga pants and a baseball cap when I'm out there doing my work.
Nah, not a bad combination. I'm a fan of both. But it's definitely good though, and I love what you said there. It's like so true. Heck, even me included from time to time when it comes to just being, I guess, vulnerable nowadays is a buzzword. It's like folks may say they're lazy, but it's really fear. It's just the darn fear as opposed to laziness. We just like to call it something else to reframe it when all in all it's just really being scared of just saying hi to somebody and then just asking.
That is exactly it. And so I don't wait until I'm ready. I don't wait until I feel good about it. I know what I need to do every day. I know that today I need to make a number of phone calls and send a couple of emails out to get my next quarter in line. I don't want to. What if people say no? What if all of a sudden over the weekend I became a pariah? There's all sorts of weird things that go in my head. But the truth is, no, I just got to do it anyway. You ignore how you feel. What if I'm not feeling well? What if I'm tired? Well, do it anyway. It doesn't take that long, honest to goodness.
Yep, that's true. It's like an email. It's like, hey, just proofread it. That shouldn't take no more than a couple minutes. Like sharing a post or joining a Facebook group or even other stuff.
Sending out a couple of quick asks. It's one thing to connect and not ask for anything, but I have found that if you get in the habit of asking or offering something at least once a day, it quickly becomes a habit that no longer frightens you.
There you go. Build up that ask muscle.
Oh, I'm totally stealing that.
Oh, please do. I got it from a book called Ask Outrageously by Linda Byers. So
I love that.
Yep, that's right. So you probably got a 6-pack in terms of ask muscle.
My gluteus ascimus. Yes.
There you go. Now you have gold. All right.
I love puns. I'm all about the puns.
Okay. I knew I was drawn to you for a reason. All right. This is good.
Puns are the highest form of humor, according to my grandfather.
Sweet. Even higher than weed.
Well, everything's a lot funnier with that. Yeah.
That's right. Some say drink till we're funny. Some people just smoke till they're funny.
Some people smoke until I'm funny.
I didn't need to do that this morning, so you're good.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, it's definitely fabulous. So, with all of your experience, what's probably the main thing that keeps you going? Because it's one thing to get to a point where you reach a huge goal. Let's say if you get on the USA Today bestseller list that a lot of folks forget about, or even signing on like 5 new clients and getting to financial independence. What keeps you going past that stage? Because sometimes it can be hard to keep going after you get a certain point of success.
It helps that I actually have responsibilities. I've got a couple of employees that depend on me and I depend on them. Once you get to a certain point in your career, especially as an entrepreneur, I can't do anything alone. I've always had the support of a great team. Sometimes they were vendors and we had a casual relationship. Sometimes they were actual employees. But the people around me and building a team is exactly what I need when I need to get to the next level. Not trying to do it all myself, to think I know everything, asking for help, leaning on the people around me, having some integrity and showing that I take my responsibility to them seriously. I can't just sit on my laurels, or else, the women who work with me, they may not have a job in a year. And I can't just do what I've always done, because as we said earlier in this episode, things in our industry change so fast. And the same is true everywhere. Whether you're in the supermarket, whether you're crawling into bed at night, whether you're at work, things change in every aspect of your life on a very regular basis. Any minute your health could change, any minute your finances could change. So always keeping your eye out on the horizon, see what's happening. And it really helps to have a team, because six eyes are better than two, and eight eyes are better than six. So I guess that would be my answer, that the thing that keeps me moving up to the next level is never assuming that I am the be all and end all. I need a team around me, both to be responsible to and to be responsible for.
Powerful right there, indeed. That's right, indeed. 6 eyes are better than two. That's right. That's right. And that doesn't involve putting on 3 pairs of glasses, right?
Although more than once I've had more than one pair of readers on my head while I'm walking around the house looking for them. I'm definitely at the age where there's a reader on every table.
Hey, it's all good. It is all good indeed. It happens to the best of us, like even with me, and not even at the stage of a backup pair of glasses I have to go to every now and then, because one pair likes to use its arms and legs and make a run for it. Yes, indeed. But I do love what you said there about having a team. So, what's probably the best advice you'd give someone going forward if they're trying to build a team with their small business?
One of the things that I have really come to learn is not to work with people who are just like me. See, I think everyone either is like me or should be. I think I'm amazing. I love everything about me. I have zero ego problems. Well, actually, my ego problems go the other way. But the fact is that I want to work with people who are like me. And if I hire people, or if I team up with people just like me, what we've got is a bunch of creative flibberty gibbets who are not good with a schedule, who do not know how to budget properly, who are not good. I have so many positive, strong qualities, including creativity and fearlessness, and I'm kind of funny and I can talk in public. But if I hire or work with a bunch of fearless, personable marketing geniuses, then what I don't have anyone who's good with a schedule, or who's good at customer service, or who answers her emails in a timely manner. So I have learned to not hire people based on whether or not I like them, or whether or not they pass the gut check. I need to hire people and work with people based on their skill set. And I need to, whether or not, I find them funny is no longer relevant, or whether or not I resonate with them, or whether or not it's all now about the skill set. Are there people who are really, really good at design? Because I'm not. Good. You should go do that. Is there somebody who's extremely good at customer service and who is very analytical in nature? That's fantastic, because I don't have that bone. I don't have a single one of those in my body. But I don't need 6 more creative geniuses. We're all set there. What I need is a couple of analytical geniuses and a couple of personable customer service, aggressive people who will go after bookkeeping. And so what I have found is, do not build your team based on whom you like. Build your team based on what you need. And be real honest with yourself about where your downfalls are and where your gaps are. I know exactly where I shine, and I have a pretty good idea where I don't. And the reason why I know that I'm not good at emails is because I'm looking at 192 emails right now in my inbox that I need to respond to. And the reason why I know I'm not good with analysis is I have started and failed at so many, many things until I actually got somebody on my team who was able to say, Amy, financially, you can't work at a 20% profit margin. You'll lose money. But I'm not good at that. I don't understand that. So hiring someone who understands what the business side needs to be, that allows me to go be my personable flibberty gibbet self.
Flibberty gibbet. Yep, that's going in a lexicon. And someone's going to be thrown off.
Well, wait till I bring up cattywampus later. That's another
Mm.
word I love using.
Oh, meow indeed. All right. That's what I'm talking about. And that takes high self-awareness too. And it's great that you actually were able to really get to the point where you could logically just drill down and realize, okay, all right, so these are my strengths. This is where I'm not as strong at, need to actually hire my weaknesses. And it's very good that you're able to do that.
Well, I think any of us, once you get past 30, and I am way past 30, once you get past 30, you've got enough experience to look back and see there's usually themes in your life, whether it's you find yourself breaking up with someone for the exact same reason, or you find yourself leaving a job. It's usually for the same reasons over and over again. The things that are not working for you, pay attention to what they all have in common. And there's a really good chance that that might be one of your soft spots. And I know for me what my soft spots are because I'm older than dirt, which means I've got a lot of years to look back on and to see what the themes are of the things that did work and the things that didn't. And it's not about what makes me happy. That idea of do what you love and the money will follow, I think that was one of the most dangerous, untrue things I've ever heard. Yes, you should follow your passion, but that's only about 30% of my life. Everything that I do is not stuff I love, but you've got to dig in and you've got to do the hard work. Otherwise, if you really want to be successful, just following your passion is not going to do it. It takes a lot more than that.
Amen to that. Might also throw the preacher's robe on top of the yoga pants and the baseball cap now, because you said it. That's right. You said it right there. 'Cause it's so darn true. And heck, it's right that you mentioned that because it's like it is dangerous because it's like, yeah, we all like to do things we like, but after a while, it's like you got to do the things that you don't like so you can free up time to do that more often.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll be who now when we're talking as long as I'm being confessional here, we're talking about soft spots. One of my I'm not going to call it a fault, but one of my soft spots is I am the queen of 80%. Oh my gosh, I'm so good at the first 80%. I can come up with the idea, I can build the website, I can take it all the way to about 80% completion, and it's fun. But you know what's not fun? The last 20%. The last 20% of any project is never fun. If you're publishing a book, the last 20% is awful. It is editing. It
Yep,
is editing. Your publisher you don't like the cover they've picked. The last 20% is so painful. But if you do not do the last 20%, you will not be successful. It will not finish. And I am the queen of 80% because the first 80% is the fun part. That's where there's no accountability, where nobody's actually looking at me. But that last 20%, and what I am begging you guys, take a little lesson from your Aunt Amy here. Just dig in and do that last 20%. None of us like it. I don't like it. None of us enjoy that part. But it's how you actually get to where you want to be.
I think you just opened a new dimension of the 80-20 rule right there. That's like a whole new dimension. The queen of the 80%. Okay, all right. And then the last 20% is what makes you the queen. That's right. It makes you rise to the occasion like the cream. You get to complete the cupcake with the cherry on top with sprinkles.
Exactly. Yep. I want to make the cupcakes, but frosting them's a pain in the neck. Okay, fine. But if I want to eat cupcakes with frosting, then you got to take that step.
That's right. Got to take that step indeed with the Ames. Wait, no, that's a garden company. Can't call the shoes the Ames. All right. I'll think of something else later. Woo. So since you're not new with the whole self-promotion thing, is there a question that you wish folks would ask you more often that you don't get asked enough?
Hmm. That is a good question. What question do I wish people would ask me? Yes, I wish they would ask if I would like $100. That would be awesome. That would be a great question. Amy, would you like $100? Because I'd say yes, and then I'd take it. Let's see. What other questions do I want to have them ask me? Well, truthfully, the thing that I wish most authors came to me knowing, and so this is, so the thing that hits me the hardest. Instead of asking me, what do I need to do to become a best-selling author? I wish they would ask me, what do I need to do to become a successful author? Because a successful author is not the same thing as a best-selling author. A best-selling author is status. A successful author is a legitimate place in life. And it's different for everyone. Being a successful author for some people means quitting their day job. For other people, it means being able to buy a mansion. For other people, it means keeping their day job, but just writing books on the side because they love it. It's different for everyone. And I wish people were not so focused on being bestsellers, but that they were more interested in being successful. Because what it takes to be a successful author is to be someone who's constantly and consistently writing, somebody who doesn't just write one book and then hope that they can retire on it. That's not an author. That's just, that's somebody who wrote a book. There's a big difference between somebody who wrote a book and a real author. And a successful author is always writing. A successful author is part of the publishing community. A successful author doesn't treat other authors like their competition, treats them like a community. And but someone who says, what can I do to be a best-selling author? The question I wish they asked more is, what can I do to be successful? Because a best-selling author, that's shallower than a successful author. I'd much rather hear someone want to be successful.
That's true. That is so true indeed, because you could have all the money from the books, and it might not amount to enough to really get your dreams come true. And it's like, what are you going to do with it afterwards? Are you going to print more books? Are you going to market the books? Are you going to, what are you going to do with the money and the status after you actually get that title? It's like, what's next after that?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And why are you an author? Are you an author because you've got legal or medical advice that you want to get out into the world? That's a real powerful mission. Are you an author because you have stories and tales that you want to share? Oh, if I didn't have stories to fall into and books to read on a daily basis, I'd lose my mind. You're being a true author is being of real service to the world.
That's right. The highest good right there. Being of service indeed. That's right. True leadership indeed. And heck, it's even joining the business of immortality when you think about it, because you're leaving a piece of yourself that'll live past you after you leave the earth in human form anyway.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, not to get too metaphysical, but, this is a very short stint we're on, and I don't want to spend any of it chasing after money. I want to spend all of it being as helpful as I can.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. She is classy and helpful indeed, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Professor Amy's in the podcast house, baby. So, since you mentioned you're way past 30, which is probably like 38, if you're to
No,
wake up
I
to.
tell people all the time, I'm 40-12. Yep. Yep, I'm 40-12. Absolutely. Yep. Next year I'll be 40-13. No shame in admitting that you're in your 40s.
40-12?
Yeah. I don't know what's so funny about that. I mean, being in your 40s is fine, right?
Oh no, it's fabulous. I'm just the whole 40-12. It's like, what? Alrighty. I did not see that one coming. All right. Yes, indeed. So if you wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but this time with all of your mass knowledge and experience in the current year, what advice would you give to yourself?
Hmm. I would tell myself to say no to everything. Give myself a minute to think about it and then change my mind and say yes. See, my problem was most of my youth and middle age, I said yes to everything and then was very sorry and had to change my mind and then say no. That doesn't work as well. But people who are like, just say yes to everything. My biggest advice would be to hold off, not make any decisions, not make any commitments, really think about whether or not I could dedicate the time and energy to whatever it was being requested of me. And if it fell in line with my values, with my own personal goals, if it indeed was going to be of service to people, and then say yes. I would beg people, or I would beg my 25-year-old self to not say yes unthinkingly. That was one of my biggest struggles. And one of the benefits of being 40-12 now is I'm no longer afraid of saying no, or that I'll have to think about it, or not yet. There's very little fear in that now.
Sweet. Funny enough, that was the advice of one of my Sunday school teachers a few years ago, is to say no, because he made the same mistake in his youth when he first joined the church and said yes to everything and burned himself out.
Yeah, you do. And you burn out your own reputation. It turns out at the end of the day, you don't have an unlimited source to draw from, no matter how much we'd all like to. And so it could actually really end up hurting other people and your own reputation if you don't learn that. So learn it before I did, guys.
That's like a little social media quote post for like a self-care series, like don't burn out your reputation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not lack of integrity, it's not lack of honesty, it's a lack of awareness of what we really can and cannot do. But boy, it sure looks like a lack of integrity at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter what your intentions were. All that matters is at that point now your integrity is in question. So don't do it. Just think things through. Don't say yes to everything.
That's right. Don't say yes to everything. That's right. That's right. Let the donut stay over there on the other side. Don't let it come over.
Well, I don't know about that, but okay.
Okay, fine. Go for the cupcake instead. Woohoo! Well, alrighty. For those who want to keep in magical contact with the amazing Amy of Awareness, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
The easiest way to get a hold of me, my email is Amy, AMY, at newshelves.com. New, not old, shelves.com. Another way, if you'd like to get in touch, is amysadvice.com. amysadvice.com is a website where you can either drop me an email, ask me a question. Every Friday at 10 a.m., I offer a free hour of consulting where I answer people's questions every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And if you go to amysadvice.com, it will allow you to participate and to get your questions answered. Some free consulting. It happens every week.
Woohoo! There you go. There you go, folks. Go out there and find Amy. Definitely going to put all the information in the show notes. And definitely check out that free advice Friday. She is dropping gold, platinum, and all the rubies.
That's very kind. Thank you. We have a lot of fun doing it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So free and fun advice Friday. There we go. So all the F and Fs. Yes, indeed. Well, any parting words for our listeners?
No, just a recap that no matter how you feel, do it anyway. Um, don't surround yourself with people who are just like you. Do something every day to promote your book or your publishing goals. Do something every day. It's like a muscle, just don't let a day go by. And under no circumstances go even one more day without subscribing to this podcast. If you are not subscribing to Going North podcast, I want you to run right now and click the subscribe button, because Dom, this has been a blast and I am so thrilled to be your newest subscriber.
Ah, this is freaking amazing. Yes, indeed. Definitely getting a gift from me after this one.
Well, guys, this guy's the real deal. So I'm so honored that you had me on. And if I can be of help to you or to your listeners in any way, please just reach out to me at amy@newshelves.com, and I'm happy to help.
How's it going, you super special awesome human? Since you made it to the end of this episode, it looks like you really enjoyed yourself. Since you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with at least 3 people in your network and tell them what you really liked about this episode. Heck, even shoot myself or the guest an email and let them know what you liked most about this interview, so that way they can stay inspired to keep pushing out great work.